Welcome to the Gur in Fangirl podcast, a podcast where we discuss pop culture and fandom. Each episode, we talk with celebrities, fans, and creators about their work in the media that inspires them. Now here's your host, the creator of the Squee project, filmmaker, fangirl, and feminist, Hansi Oppenheimer.
Hey, this is Hansi, and I'm really excited to share this conversation I had with actor Dana DeLorenzo, who cursed her way into our hearts as Kelly Maxwell in Ash vs. Evil Dead, and we talk about a whole bunch of cool stuff here. So here we go.
Hi, Hansi. It's Dana DeLorenzo.
Hey,
how are
Dana.
you?
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for reaching out.
Oh, thanks so much for taking the time for me. I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Anytime we could talk about, horror and women in horror, it's a delight for me. It's a delight.
Yeah, I saw that. I was checking, of course, to your IMDb and looking at some of, your other work because I loved you as Kelly Maxwell. You were just like the most badass character. And
thank
just
you.
did a great job. And I loved her because she just had her own agency. She was nobody's girlfriend. She was nobody's daughter. She was just there for the fight.
Exactly. And I don't know if we're live or not, but can I just ask you before we keep going? Because I need to, once I start talking about Kelly.
I'm going to edit. So
we're not. Okay.
Say something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, because I just wanted to know if you want me to keep it. Because when I start talking about Kelly, I tend to slip into Kelly. So should I keep it PG or is it rated? Is it okay? So it's a Kelly. It's rated Kelly. Your show is rated Kelly. That's what I think. I think we should give her own rating. There's no R. There's no. It's rated Kelly.
I loved her Sailor Mouth. I thought that was one of the best things about her because she was women I know.
Well, and I may or may not be one of those women. Depends on who you ask. If it's my family, that was one of the only thing they didn't like. I just don't know why you have to swear so much. Meanwhile, I come from a family of, swearing Italians. So it's do as I say, not as I do in my family. But I have to say, I really loved it as well. And it was one of those things that sort of happened organically and in a collaborative way because there was, which ended up the audition scenes. A lot of them were pretty much what you saw in the pilot, and there were some F-bombs for sure. And I after the first table read of the pilot, or maybe it might have been the second. I'm not even sure, but definitely we'll just go with the first. Rob Tapper said, "From here on out, the only character I think should swear is Dana." It was Kelly, and it might have even been Bruce or the two of them agreed basically, or at least dropped the F-bomb specifically, and then Bruce chimed in saying to be honest, I think it's really funny when Ash just uses non sequiturs, which I actually just recently tweeted Bruce because I won this George Award for swearing. It's the George Carlin Award.
Oh man!
And it was
congratulations!
Yeah, no, it's the greatest honor. I'm not even kidding. I'm you know what? There's no greater award. But an Academy Award would come second to the George Carlin Award. That is solely merited due to prolific use of cursing, specifically the F-bomb. And it was brought to my attention when I believe the person who dons the award said this is the first time that it's ever been given to someone in television. It's always been with her film. Yeah. So anyway, I tweeted that, and Bruce, in his hilarious way, retweeted and said, "Golly." And I started laughing because it reminded me of this very conversation you and I are having, which is when he was I'm all for Dana having, all of the F-bombs. He's to be honest, I really like it when Ash, just says non sequiturs, as I was saying. And so that reminded me, and I put two of them, I need you, Bruce, to somehow find a way to bring these two back that you said as Ash. One, these are two of my favorite, quote unquote, quote, Ash, curse words, when he said, suck my saggy balls, Bill. Like, you can suck my saggy Bill's balls.
Yeah.
And the other one was, holy pickle dick. And I think Bruce was more than happy to like have the writers come up with creative ways for him to do it. But yeah, so I have to say, I very much enjoyed it. And it sort of came organically. We kept pushing the limits, because also you don't want to, like they were saying, and it's funny coming in, of all things, Evil Dead, which is the reigning king of over the top. But it was one of those things where like it almost desensitizes, and their whole idea behind it was like, if every character is swearing all the time on top of all of the over the top blood and gore, it's just going to desensitize. So like we should just limit it to one, have one main character do it. And so then we just really like Craig DiGregorio, who is the showrunner for pretty much the first 2 years, and then Cam Welsh as well sort of joined in. And even Mark Verheiden, the last season, but with Cam and Craig specifically, there was that scene in the second season, episode 6, where we were trapped inside the house. And one of the fans' favorites I get requested all the time to like say to them or to write on whatever a piece of paraphernalia is a line that I actually suggested, and I'm very excited. I was like, oh God, I'm turning into Kelly, which was, I asked them, I said, hey, when I yell out the window the second time, because we had to keep escalating it, and the first time I say, oh, you fuckwads better know how to walk through lead. If you want to ask, fuckwads better know how to walk through lead. And I forget what the second one was, but I was like, hey, because they were so awesome and so collaborative from the get-go. And so I said, hey, as an alternate to what you have for the second time, I say, I don't even remember what the line was. I said, can I try this in one take? And Craig was like, we're just changing it to that. And that was the line, back off now or I will fuck your faces with bullets. And I felt like the fact that I would never, like, I'm not a writer, you know what I mean? I have no idea where that came from, but I feel like Kelly and all that she is as a fictional character was officially alive and well, because that just came through. I'm like, I have no idea why that even came through, but it's such a good thing. Like, you can fuck people's faces with all, like, fuck your face with love, fuck your face with gratitude. Like, you can even, I like doing it. Too. Yeah. Well, and it was, it was funny.
It's just like gung ho.
I do too.
Shooting the shit out of people.
Well, and that's the thing. Well, and that's the thing is, like, we had to make it, if you recall, at the beginning of the whole like sort of encounter, I didn't want to shoot the random people, and we had to make a few adjustments. I remember Michelle Hurd and I were like, we need to make sure the audience knows we're not trying to kill them. We're just trying to like scare them off. So that's why they put in like, I just fired a round at over a crowd of people. And he's like, that's like a felony. We wanted to make sure people knew that we weren't trying to kill them because they weren't deadites. But so that's why we had to like escalate it in a way of threats and then pulling it back with the whole too much, and it was, anytime I can go big like that. Like, I actually think the director, Mark Beasley, when I came back in through the window but it was the shot of me outside the window. So I said the line anyway, in case they used it on the inside. I'm like, back up now, fix your faces with bullets. And then I come in, I'm like, too much. And he was on the microphone or like the megaphone outside. And the first 3 takes, he was like, yep, definitely too much. And I was like, wait, is this like a note? Or he's like, nope, it's too much. So I think I even still had to pull it back from what ended up making it there. But it's so much fun. I feel like I just talked for 2 hours. I'm so sorry. I'm a rambler.
No, I
need
love
dialogue
it.
Written for me.
I mean, that's also why I wanted to talk to you, because it's clear, like, from your social media presence that, you're a fan of this show as well as a part of this show.
Oh, absolutely. I was a fan of the franchise before. I'm a huge fan of Bruce Campbell, and I'm absolutely, me personally, I can't, I don't feel like I don't know, because I haven't really done anything, except maybe when I was first starting and doing like Craigslist ads, but like I haven't really done anything that I don't get excited about. But especially this, I just fell in love with all things about it, because especially as an actor, you think horror and you think comedy, but it was so much more than that I never ever expected. I mean, the fact that I was like doing stunts, the heavy hitting ones, I have to give credit to my stunt double, Crystal Pratt. She oh man, she took it so hard for me, for Kelly. But I did get to do, I was like, and that scene with Lucy Lawson, we're fighting the tree, that after like an entire day of shooting, only like 30 seconds made it. But I got to, my Crystal, my stunt double, tore her ACL doing the stunt. So then they're like, all right, Dana, I guess you're going up. And so like, okay. So there I am in the middle of the woods in New Zealand being hung upside down by my ankle. And like we did, Rick Jacobson has like, he doesn't care how much you're tortured because he's like, I'm going to get the shot. So it was all day of like getting pine needles, because this is a real forest, in New Zealand. And like there's pine needles in places that I am still traumatized. And like, it's so, and then, but this is how show business is. And then in the end, it was like 30 seconds of stuff. But like, I'm so grateful that I got to do cool stuff like that. Or like even I got to do stunt driving with Brock's truck, because originally they were going to do something more with that. It didn't, but like at the same time, I think I posted that video too. I loved that stunt driving day. So that is also why I'm so passionate, not just about the show and the characters and the theme, which I obviously am, but beyond that, it was so rewarding getting to play in that space, because as an actor, I got to like really start working a bunch of different muscles that I never would have expected day one. So it was, I'm really grateful for that whole, I will always, this will like, I'm just having this realization. I think I will always, Ashes with Evil Dead will always be like my first great love as an adult, like in a different way. Like I did musicals. I will always love certain roles I've done, but in terms of just because this is the first time I've ever played one character that got to grow over 3 years. And that's, this has been my life. So like, it is such a big part of my heart and my blood and guts, so to speak. So,
yeah, she
and I
really,
realize I've been, by the way, and I also, wait, real quick, because you said you can edit this. Hansi, since I've been talking so much, we can go let's go an extra 5-10 minutes. So I'm good until right before 3:30. So,
okay.
Just in case.
Okay.
If that helps you.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, it holds a special place in my heart.
She could be so many different things. She was beautiful. She was badass. She had a sailor mouth. She was, strong. She went a little off path, but she was also the cheerleader for Pablo. And, she was, really fully well-rounded character, which is, we don't see enough of.
It's certainly in horror. But I also really give credit to, to these male writers who why I think it all worked is they were very willing. Here's why. Number one, Sam Raimi set the bar. I've talked about this before. The first week of pre-production, before we started filming the pilot with him, he asked me to help rewrite this scene with him. First of all, I've never worked with him before. I don't know.
That's
I
amazing.
feel like I have any credentials. But he's like, hey, the first time he did it was a scene with me and Ray that I ended up never making it anyway. But with me and Pablo, Kelly and Pablo. And so he sat down and wanted to get our thoughts on that. And I was like, I'm sorry, Sam Raimi. He's asking, who the hell are we? It's so you know what I mean? And I just remember looking at it I think the first 20 minutes I kept saying I don't, whatever you think, sir. He's like, Dana, I asked you because I would like your input. I think you're very, he was so complimentary. And then after that, he asked me again for that very crucial scene for Kelly's arc, which was the scene with her mother in the bedroom. And he was like, let's think of, he's like, can you help me think of a few lines back and forth and what she would say and what we think happened to her, what originally happened to her mother, what would really hurt you as Kelly for your mother to say to you, right before she turned. And I'm just like, first of all, any writer doing that is phenomenal, but especially Sam Raimi, and this is his baby, that set the bar. And that is why Sam Raimi is a success. We can all take a little something away from that, whatever job in life or profession you have, collaborating with people is a testament of like true success. And I feel like that it's don't be so precious. We all get a little bit precious with it. I even find myself getting precious with things that I want to control as a control freak, and there is a perfect example. So I feel like Sam set the bar of like, hey, let's all, I hired you guys as actors to bring something of your own to this role. And then Craig and Cam did the same thing. So I also just love that they were willing, like, as we went along, to listen to ideas, to, like I said, with that wine, for example, but also like concept. I really love too, to go back to your point. Sorry, I feel like I'm so long-winded, Hansi, because I even talked about this show in like 6 months or a year, and I'm in withdrawal from every. Now all I did was talk about Ash vs. Evil Dead, literally nonstop, for like off season, on season, everything for the last 3 years, and now I haven't talked about it in so long. So, and I'm long-winded anyway. Anybody who's interviewed me will tell you, and any of my family friends will tell you, I get cut off on every voicemail. But I'm just so excited to talk about it. I'm so sorry. This is going to be a 2-hour interview. So anyway, the one thing I want to point out, but to bring back to your point about agency and all of that, which she really didn't get, something I really fought for, was the one thing she was missing towards, like, by season 3. I'm like, she really has never, she's the one who's like brains and come up with a lot of suggestions and plans, but no one ever, like, she's never been able to like follow through with something. And so, and they were on that same path of like, yes, let's have her, kind of forge her own path, just to show that she can go after what it is she wants, which is revenge. But I loved also, yes, she was a badass. Yes, she was, a quick learner and foul-mouthed and funny, but also had heart and loved, Ash and Pablo so much and would do anything for them. But at the same time, that I also think is rare with like badass characters, even including women, is that she was not afraid to show her fear, if that makes sense. You saw her
absolutely.
As a character.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important, because you know what I mean? You can't, that's why she's relatable. Because if you look at this show as a whole and Kelly's arc, it's very like true to life. When you start something new, whether it's a job or whether it's, demon hunting, it's going to be terrifying, certainly when your life is on the line. So if you see like she grows where, in the first season, she was still taking it all in. And so she would, it was a lot more shocking, but she would learn from every single encounter with the Deadites or whatever crazy, insane experience. However, even season 3, she was still afraid of situations. I think that's human. I think that is why people love, first of all, Ash, because he's the anti-hero. He's the every guy. Like he always said, he's not wearing a spandex, his superhero suit.
Just the girdle.
Yeah, no, exactly. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, the girdle. But so I think that these are real flawed human beings, but that are going where where the brave dare not go, if you will, just in spite of the fact that they're terrified. And I think that's what's really cool about the writing of the show, and specifically what they did with Kelly.
Yeah, all of them. I mean, they all, had their own stuff and their ways of, not wanting to deal with it. And, as a team, they would rally each other.
Exactly. And I liked that. I liked that none of them were just like too cool for school, even though sometimes Ash thought he was, but we all know the truth.
But you let him know he wasn't most of the time.
Exactly.
So I saw that you were nominated for one of the Women in Horror Awards alongside Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, yes. I believe we tied that year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We got tied for the nomination. I think that was the very first one that came. I was just blown away. Like I said, I'm one of those like nerdy people in life that's, especially when it comes to performing in any sense of the word, whether singing or acting, especially with this incredible opportunity. I was just happy to be there. And like, I knew none of us were safe. So like every script that came out, I'm like, am I dead? Am I dead? Am I dead? Did I die? Am I dead? Honestly, I I'm dead serious. Like, I'm dead serious. That was an accidental pun, which I love, by the way. I was dead serious, like, where I really just appreciated how, like, every time I was still there and making it through to another season. So then to get, like, nominated for award, I was like, what? Are you kidding me? And then I think it was, oh goodness, I'm terrible. It was 2 iHorror awards and a Fangoria. No, 2 Fangoria awards and an iHorror award. And then I was bestowed another honor that I was like, my mind is blown for the Artemis. I got the Artemis Women in Action film for the next.
I follow those guys and promote their film festival. I'm a big fan of the Artemis Women's Film Festival.
Amazing. They are such amazing women. Megan is incredible, and what they do is incredible. And you know, just being there with like all of these. And it was like badass stunt women and all the actors that had won. It was just such an incredible thing. So like, it's the gift that keeps on giving, honestly. It really is, this show. So yeah, but to even have my name referenced in the same category as Jamie Lee Curtis, I like, I'm going to print that out and put that in my scrapbook just for the list.
Would you consider yourself a scream queen now?
I mean, I don't think I can give myself that. I think that's up to other people. I don't know. Okay. I feel like I'm happy if I won't reject it if someone wants to say that. Although the joke of that is if you take it literally, I can't scream, which is why I never thought there was a chance.
Which is why you just
there was a
like
chance. Exactly. I could not. There's not a chance in hell I was ever going to get this role because I'm like, I can't scream. So what's the point? And my mom always used to say, she's like, I mean, can't they just dub some of your screams? I'm like, I think they did a few. And she's like, no, because I hear you. And you scream like a 75-year-old man. And I'm like, ah. Because I have, my voice is always hoarse, probably because I'm talking so much and so loud all the time. But so every time I literally, like my screams, like if I actually get startled in life, which happens all the time, don't tell anybody how not cool I am in real life and how not Kelly I am in real life. Honestly, someone pops a balloon and I'm like, ah! That's my scream. So that wouldn't really work for Kelly. So, but I will scream. I will love a scream queen title, even though I can't scream. So it's all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it means something differently than it did mean.
No, I know.
It used to mean when women were victims and stuff, but clearly, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis is not the victim, and you're not the victim. I mean, you're both, you know, badass.
Yeah, no,
female
absolutely
action heroes. So.
Yeah, I feel like
we're just going to make it mean that.
For sure. All right. No, absolutely. And it doesn't mean you have to scream.
No.
I like all of that.
Like you know, a woman in horror, you know, that's, you know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love it.
So, you said you were a fan of the franchise before. I mean, have you always been a horror fan?
Yes, and I've said this so many times, and it's like so pathetic every time I say it. I was like super, comparatively to now as an adult, I was never cool in my life, but in hindsight, I'm like, I was secretly cool at like 12 when I peaked as a cool person, even though I was never cool. Like I would have just make that clear. In my mind, that was way cooler than I am now, but I was never cool, so we'll just go with that. But I was a huge horror kid. Huge. Like I was just talking about this with my family actually. Like I'm, you know, my family are very strict, you know, like Italian Catholic parents. I don't know how. I don't think they ever knew what I was really watching. They did show me The Exorcist first because again, I got the rite of passage. But I was 12, I think, when they let me see that. But then they would I think they made me. For that scene on the like, they made me leave or they fast forwarded our Blockbuster VHS tape at the time. But, and so that will always hold my heart. But I mean, I read the first books I read, like when you're reading, that's not, you know, one of those golden books, like the first chapter book I ever read. And I read the whole series was the Goosebumps books. I was an avid watcher of, I'm going to age myself, but like, of Are You Afraid of the Dark, to the point I lost a babysitting job when I was 12 because I made the 6-year-old watch it with me. And the 6-year-old had nightmares all night. And the parents were like, you're fired because you can't. I'm like, I didn't know it's Nickelodeon. sorry if your kid is like a baby, but like I loved haunted houses. I watched I was like on the basketball team in middle school, and the 5 of us starters would have like weekends, like, sleepover weekends. I mean, we watched The Shining. Like, I'm thinking back and I'm like, I was 12 or 13 and I sat through The Shining, yet I watch it now and I have to turn it off because it's terrifying to me. Like, I don't know. I was such a huge horror person.
Kids are fearless because they don't know about mortality.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's like,
scarier when you're an adult, especially.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. Because you're exactly right, because yeah. Because you're like, I'm sorry, that old woman in the bathtub that's moldy is not cute right now. But like when we were, 12, we're like, oh, that's so cheesy. Like, I was not affected at all. I mean, but anyway, so yeah, all of that horror stuff. And I think, and I don't know what happened, but I think when I was like 16, 17, and I snuck in with my boyfriend at the time to Blair Witch Project. And because it was like, I saw it the first weekend when everyone thought it was real. And I loved ghosts. I mean, I have the Ouija board. Girl, I did everything. I was like that person. I mean, I even played Possessed once, with a bunch of mean girls who I was invited to sleep over. It's a long story, but they were so mean. They were so Regina George. And then we all were using the Ouija board, and they all said that I was possessed because I was the loser of the group. And so then, like, at, same age, like 12, 13, I played Possessed because I had seen The Exorcist. So I was like, to this day, it's a proud moment for me because they none of them would sleep in the same room as me. They were terrified. And I felt like at the time, like, yeah, I got you guys. I got you. And like, rumors went around the school, like, Dana's possessed. And like, I went home and told my parents, I was like, no, they were being mean to me. They said I was possessed, so I played the part. Oh my God, my parents were like, you know what? Good for you.
Yeah.
Little did I
handled it really brilliantly.
Yeah, and subconsciously, it wasn't like, I don't even know what came over me to do that. But I definitely have always wanted to play Possessed, and like in a real way, in a role. And just because I find it fascinating. And of course, like I said, Exorcist, Linda Blair, first horror film. That was just, I mean, it doesn't really get better than that. And so when I found out, even in the screen test before I'd gotten the role of Kelly, Sam Raimi, it's on camera. Maybe it'll be released someday, but you see me on camera where he legally has to ask me, hey, are you okay? Are you claustrophobic? Are you okay with prosthetics? Are you okay with sitting in a makeup chair for 4 hours with straws up your nose, being able to do a prosthetic mold of your face? Because we're thinking we're gonna have Kelly be possessed in season 1. And you see, I like genuinely put my hands up in the air like I just won a marathon. I'm like, yes. And he's like, okay, you're enthusiastic, but is that really? I'm like, yes, anything you want. Yes, I don't care. This is my dream. Like someday maybe that'll come out. But so that was a full circle thing for me too, and it's so great to do. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where we were. What you asked me. I've been talking for so long.
But I mean, I do understand from, I saw a bunch of your panels at, Comic-Cons. We're going to have to wrap up in another minute and a half, but yeah. I saw a bunch of your panels.
Then don't ask me any more questions because I'll talk the whole time of it. Sorry. No, sorry. You were saying, I'm sorry. You were saying you saw a couple on the panel.
It was a fairly difficult show to shoot. I mean, it was not an easy shoot because of the prosthetics and the angles and all the blood and but it sounds like you just had the best time ever.
It was hardest. I mean, even Bruce Campbell will tell you, like it was not. He's like, everyone's like, oh, you look like you guys have so much fun, and he's like, it's a fun show to watch, and he's like, but when we're there working, and he's like, and he goes, getting covered in blood all day, every day, and viscera, and then having it rip your skin off and your hair off, when it dries in 5 minutes, and then you have to take 3-hour showers, and you're getting up at 3 a.m. He's like, no, that part's not fun, but it was fun in the sense of, even on the extra hard days or the extra long days, or when I got hypothermia or whatever in the woods, you look back on those as badges of honor. And then that when they were some of the lighter days, like a dialogue day or something fun, we would have fun in between stuff, but we moved very fast. So yeah, Lucy is correct. Bruce is correct. I mean, I'm not going to have a complaint about it, but like, I'm glad they said it. Like, I concur. It was very difficult, but it looks awesome.
Yeah, no, it was flawless. It was everything I would have wanted the show to be, except maybe a couple more seasons longer. But
yeah,
it was like perfect.
Yes,
yeah,
I
thought they did an amazing job, like carrying that world over to a TV series, and I mourned with everyone when it was canceled. It was just like,
oh, I agree. Well, and I'm so happy that for you and for all the fans that were a fan of the films, that you agree that it was translated to a different medium flawlessly. I think that's what happens when you have the lead character still reprising the role, in a very funny and honest way, like wearing girdles and fake teeth, as opposed to 30 years ago. But then also when you have the same creators who are surrounding themselves with writers who were fans and people who are passionate. It was all a bloody love letter to you guys, to you fans. And at the end of the day, like, yes, we're all a little devastated that it was only 3 seasons. However, like Bruce said, hey, that's like, if each season is a whole 5.5 hours, then think of how many movies you just got out of it. You know what I mean? So and I actually
interviewed him for a documentary I'm doing on Joe Lansdale. And
that's incredible.
Then we chatted a little, and I said, 3 seasons, and he said, like, and Happen Leonard also got canceled after 3 seasons, and Bruce said, he's talked to Joe about it, and it's like, do we even want to be in this business anymore? Like, but 3 seasons these days is a success. So
yeah, exactly. That is true, and if nothing else, like. He knew he wanted to, he's like, I'm just glad that now the fans can stop pestering me and Sam for the last 20 years. I'm like, well, and that's why every fan I meet, I'm like, thank you for my job. You pestered Sam and Bruce to the point of they had no choice but to make a continuation. And so, how Bruce is with his like tongue in cheek, like, now they're going to shut up. But that's Bruce being, being Ash, but he loved it. Don't let him lie. I think it's his masterpiece in terms, like, he can do so many things. He's such a versatile actor, but I'm telling you what, man, what he did, especially in season 3 with the emotions and everything of Ash, and watching Ash grow a little bit emotionally with the daughter and everything. I think it was incredible. And I will always, hail to the king for sure with that role.
Oh, yeah. No question.
But I'm so happy you loved it and enjoyed it. And, I never say never. With these guys, I wouldn't be surprised if in another 20 years, something else comes up with this show or this franchise. Never say never. It'll never die.
Well, I mean, we're down to watch you, whatever you're doing, and especially horror. So, I'll keep an eye on your feed, and I'll promote the hell out of whatever you're doing, because we want to see you in more things.
You. I'm actually, that's funny. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Hansi. So I guess we can close out with, I will be back on this small screen in a new show that I am so proud of, that I feel like, even if, like, I know your audience is mostly horror, which is amazing. Let me just tell you what, you guys are going to love this, because, first of all, here's why you're going to love it, whether you're horror fans strictly or just like good entertainment. It's called, I guess it's what it's called. It's called Perpetual Grace LTD, Perpetual Grace Limited, and it'll be on Epix. The season starts on June 2nd, 2019, and it is here's how because it's kind of indescribable. It's from the creators of Patriot on Amazon, which if you haven't seen it's its own, in the way that like Ash's Evil Dead is quirky and its like own uniqueness. So is Patriot. It's phenomenal. Stephen Conrad, Bruce Harris are the creators. But here's what my description is of what it is, because it's hard to describe. It's a Hitchcock-inspired TV noir, suspenseful, dark comedy thriller.
Ooh.
Yes, it is all those things. It is all. I think Epix is going to trademark my thing on that, because that really is what it is. A Hitchcock-inspired TV noir,
great.
suspenseful, dark comedy thriller. I mean, literally in the script it says, do a Hitchcock close-up. I mean, and it is all those things. It is starring Ben Kingsley, who has never done television and did it for this role in the show because he wanted to, not because he had to, obviously. And so it's got to be good if Sir Ben Kingsley is doing it.
Yeah.
For his first time in TV. Jackie Weaver, who is incredible. Jimmy Simpson, Louis Guzman, Damon Harriman, Hannah Mae Lee, Dash Williams. It is such an all mind-blowing cast with even like some other great recurring roles and surprises that you'll see in there. And if I may leave you with this, I think fans of Ash vs. Evil Dead will be happy to know that I play a character named Valerie who has a filthy and fine mouth. Once again, I'm playing a role in a totally different show of its own genre. Like in the way that Evil Dead was created its own like niche drama, or genre rather. This is its own genre, sort of in its own way. And it's very subtle. It's so subtle and so dark and so thrilling and suspenseful and, like I said, all those things. And yet, I am still playing a character who drops the F-bomb perpetually, if I can tie it back into
because you do it so well.
You
won the George Carlin Award for that.
I know. Oh, it's my claim to fame, Hansi. What can I? You know what? It could be worse.
Well,
I enjoy it. So anyway, June 2nd on Epic. Yeah, thank you. I had to laugh because I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, especially, and I can't say too much about my character because they're editing it, and I'm sort of a reveal, but they're switching some scenes around, and so I don't. It's one of those things where as it unfolds, it's like, oh my god, oh. So I don't want to be the one who gets sued by the network to give something away. But so all I can tell you for now is I play Valerie, and it's a very slow burn for this character in the best way. She has a filthy, filthy mouth. If it stays, whatever dialogue I shot if it's not edited or bleeped out or whatever changed, there's a lot of F-bombs. So you have that to look forward to, Ash vs. Evil Dead fans.
I love
Kelly will live in Valerie.
I love that genre anyway, so that's going to be really great. I'll link to any promo materials about that and let people know they can look for you in that in June. Oh, I so appreciate that. Yeah, I think I have a pinned tweet of the trailer, but it's Epix. It's on Epix, called Perpetual Grace LTD. So, and June 2nd. So thank you for doing that, Hansi. I appreciate that. I'm very, very proud of it. I'm very excited. Yeah. And very, we're excited too. Yay, more Dana.
Yay. Well, let's see. You know what? I'm like hesitant to even say it because, I have been cut out of lots of shows in the past. So who knows? I'm hoping because I'm in the majority of the episodes a little bit here or there. So I'm hoping something on there makes it so I never can be. But if I'm not, then oops, whoopsie.
Well, then
on the cutting room floor. But
then we will raise the fan campaign and be like, where the fuck is Dana DeLorenzo?
See, this is why you guys are the best. My horror peeps are you guys have the most passion, just like me, and I love that because we're passionate, we're intense. We fight for what we want, and we drop F-bombs when we kill Deadites.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right, my powerful vagina. I'm so happy to talk to you. You're delightful.
You're
Please make sure
I appreciate it so much.
Oh, absolutely. And if fans don't know, they can follow me at letter M, I'm Dana DeLorenzo on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm on the Facebook thing as well.
Yeah, I will post this everywhere on all my social media, and I'll add your links, and I'll send you the link
and tag me in it so I can. I've been really slow and taking a huge break from social media, but I will keep an eye out for it. Just tag me in it, and I'll definitely see it.
Thank you so much. It's great talking to you.
Lovely.
And thanks for the great work.
I will talk to you. Oh, thank you so much. I will talk to you anytime. You just reach out next time you want to talk about something, and I'm your girl.
Okay. Thanks, Dana. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Hansi. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on The Grr in Fangirl. If you enjoyed our show, be sure to visit our website, www.squeeprojects.com, where you can subscribe to the podcast and our YouTube channel for lots more Squee as fuck pop culture content. Thanks for joining us this week on the Grr in Fangirl. If you enjoyed our show, be sure to visit our website, www.squeeprojects.com, where you can subscribe to the podcast and our YouTube channel for lots more squee as fuck pop culture content.